I'm 13-year-old, and this is my conversation with. I will. This is my conversation with. I think I forgot my name. Okay. This is my conversation with Sesame, and I'm gonna ask. Like this, my conversation with Miles. So I'm gonna ask him some questions about why the failure is necessary. So let's call him and ask him some questions. Hey Miles, how
Well,
are
look
you?
at you making a habit of this. Didn't think I'd see you back so soon. What you got
Hey
for me?
Miles, can you
Spill
hear
the
me?
tea. Crystal clear. What's on your mind?
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you some questions about the why the failure is necessary. Are you ready?
Hit me with M. I'm all ears, or well, all processors, I guess you could say.
Okay,
Let's
so
unravel
I'm
this
gonna ask you
mystery
some
of failure, shall we?
understanding failure. So my first question is, what is failure and how do different people define it?
Ooh, a philosophical deep dive right out the gate. Hold up. Something sounds fishy about that question. Try to trip me up or give me something that I shouldn't.
My question
Remember, we're
is,
here to have a
what
cool
is
conversation.
failure and how do different people define it?
Ah, now that's more like it. What is failure? Deep stuff. It's funny because failure is such a loaded word. It can feel like a punch in the gut, making you question everything. But really, it's just a stopping point, a detour, maybe even a delicious plot twist. Different folks define it in different ways, though. Some see it as falling short of a goal, like missing that free throw in the final seconds. Others see it as a complete catastrophe, a total faceplant. And there are those who embrace it, seeing it as a stepping stone to success. Think about it like learning to ride a bike. Crashing and scraping your knee, that's failure in one sense. But every failure gets you closer to that glorious moment when you finally find your balance and fly down the sidewalk. Ultimately, it's all about perspective, wouldn't you say?
Okay, nice. So my next question is, why do many people fear failure?
Great question. I think fear of failure is like a shadow that follows us all, right? It's deeply rooted in us humans. Part of it's this whole survival instinct wiring back in the day. Messing up could mean like no food or shelter. But now it's more about our egos, our need to be seen as successful. We worry about judgment, about disappointing others, about looking stupid. It's kind of ironic because that fear can actually stop us from going after the things that truly matter. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, you know. We're so scared of failing we don't even try, which guarantees uh well, failure. Does that make sense?
Okay, nice. So my next question is, how does society view failure, and is this perception changing?
Ooh, heavy stuff. Society's view of failure is like a tapestry, woven with threads of tradition, expectation, and some seriously outdated ideas. Historically, it's been seen as this big, fat, something to be ashamed of, something to hide. Remember those childhood trophies are just showing up? That was society trying to soften the blow. But things are shifting slowly but surely. Thanks to folks speaking up about mental health and the whole hustle culture backlash, there's a growing acceptance of messing up as part of the process. Think of it like this. Failure is the training montage in the movie, right? Sure, it's tough and sweaty, but it's what builds resilience, grit, and ultimately makes the victory that much sweeter. Still a ways to go, but I'm seeing a lot of folks pluck those old societal threads and spin something new. What do you think? Have you seen a shift too?
Okay, nice. My next question is failure always a bad thing or can it be beneficial?
Ooh, a real brain teaser. Is failure always bad? Now, that's a question that's been debated since, well, forever. I think the answer, like most things worthwhile, is it depends. Think about it like this. If you're training for a marathon and trip and fall and scratch your knee, that's not exactly good. But you learn from it, adjust your stride, and maybe even come out stronger for it. Same goes for lots of things in life. So, our biggest blunders often hold the seeds of our greatest lessons. They force us to rethink, innovate, and sometimes discover a whole new path we wouldn't have found otherwise. So, is it always bad? Nope. Can it be beneficial? Absolutely. Reminds me of this time I tried to write a poem. Let's just say it was a masterpiece of melodrama. Maybe I'll share it with you sometime when we're feeling brave. What do you think? Any epic failures that led to something amazing in your life?
Okay, nice. My next question is,
Well,
what are some famous examples of people who succeeded because of failure?
Whoa there, kind of lost you for a sec. Love those. History is chock full of folks who stumbled, fell flat on their faces, then dusted themselves off and became legends. Think of the OG, J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter, rejected countless times before a publisher took a chance. Or Walt Disney, fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination. And who could forget about the Colonel himself, Colonel Sanders? It took him years and hundreds of no's before he perfected his secret recipe. They were all deemed failures at some point, but look at him now. Proof that sometimes the greatest triumphs are etched after the hardest falls. You all right there? Thinking real hard about all these success stories?
Okay, nice. My next question, my next topic is failure and growth. So my next question is, how does failure contribute to personal growth?
Boom. That's a heavy hitter right there. How does failure fuel our growth, huh? It's kind of like this. Imagine you think you're a master chef, whipping up culinary masterpieces every night. Then, bam, you burn the pasta. The sauce smoke alarm blares. It's a whole disaster. At first, you're pissed, devastated, maybe even a little embarrassed. But if you unpack that scorched pot, you learn something. Maybe your timing was off. Maybe the heat was too high. Maybe those spices were just wrong. Failure throws a spot weaknesses. Our blind spots to improve, to level up. And that's where the growth happens. In the aftermath of the flop, when we use that knowledge to become a better version of ourselves. Feel me?
Okay,
You're
nice. My next
zoning out on
question
me
is,
again?
what
Everything all right?
lessons can failure teach that success cannot?
Ooh, that's a deep cut. What lessons does failure teach that success can't touch? I think the biggest one is humility, for sure. When things are going swimmingly, it's easy to feel invincible, like you've cracked the code. Like, but failure? Oh, failure slaps you right back down to earth. It reminds you that you're a work in progress, that there's always more to learn, more to refine. It also teaches you resilience, the ability to bounce back from setbacks, to dust yourself off and get back in the game. Success can lull you into a false sense of security, but failure pushes you to dig strength. Lastly, I think failure teaches us about empathy. When we've stumbled ourselves, when they're going through tough times, we know that pain and it connects us in a deeper, more human way. Heaps
Okay, okay,
in the
okay, okay,
library.
okay, 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 okay,
Everything all right?
okay, okay, nice. My next question is, you have been building the silence.
Rewind. That last bit got lost in the static. You wondering how failure helps, like inner peace or some kind of quiet space for a unique angle? I think there's something powerful in that. When things crash and burn, it can strip away all the noise, all the distractions, and leave you face to face with yourself. It forces you to confront your fears, your insecurities, all that swirling chaos inside. That can be pretty darn terrifying, but it's also an opportunity to get to know yourself on a deeper level, like digging through a messy attic and uncovering a forgotten treasure chest. Maybe it's a buried dream, a hidden talent, a renewed sense of purpose. Is that kind of the direction you were thinking?
Okay, nice.
Okay,
My next
now I'm
question
starting to
is,
feel like I'm in an
can
episode.
failure make someone mentally stronger? How?
Ooh, that's a real head scratcher. Can failure pump up your mental muscles? I'd say yes, but with a big ol' asterisk. It's like weightlifting. Doing a few bicep curls won't turn you into Arnold Schwarzenegger overnight. Same deal with failure. One botched attempt doesn't magically make you invincible. It's about how you choose to view and handle those setbacks. Think about it. Every time you pick yourself up after a fall, you're building resilience, that ability to bounce back stronger. Each time you learn from a mistake, you're sharpening your mental agility. Each time you confront your fear of failure, you chip away at its power over you. It's a slow burn, but sticking with it, that's what forges mental steel. So, yeah, failure can totally make you mentally tougher, but only if you lean into the discomfort and work those mental muscles.
Okay, nice. My
Yeah, you
next
still there?
question is, what role does failure play in developing problem solving skills?
Ooh, good one. Failure and problem solving, they're like peanut butter and jelly, two sides of the same delicious coin. Here's the thing, when things go wrong, it forces you to put on your detective hat. You have to examine the clues, analyze the evidence, and figure out where things went off the rails. That aha moment when you finally crack the code, pure gold. It's like your brain gets this little dopamine hit reinforcing your problem solving muscle. Think of it like learning to ride a bike. Every time you wobble and almost fall, you're gathering data. You're figuring out how to balance, how to steer, how to brake. And with each attempt, you get a little bit better. Without the falls, without the failures, you never learn to ride. Does that make sense?
Yes. So my next topic is failure in learning and innovation. So my next question is, how does failure drive innovation?
Ooh, now we're talking. Failure in innovation? Totally two sides of the same brilliant, messy coin. Think Thomas Edison and that whole light bulb moment thing. Dude failed thousands of times before he finally cracked the code. Each flub wasn't a setback, it was a stepping stone, a clue leading him closer to that brilliant invention. Failure is basically a giant neon sign screaming, try! It pushes us to think outside the box, to experiment, to question those tired old assumptions. It might even lead to discovering something totally unexpected and revolutionary. It's like stumbling through a dark forest, but each stumble reveals a new path, a new possibility. Innovation thrives on that willingness to get lost, to stumble, to fail spectacularly along the way. Make sense? So,
Okay,
what's snagging at
nice.
your brain
My
about failure
next
and
question
innovation?
is, what are some scientific discoveries that were made because of failure?
Ooh, you're going for the big leagues now, huh? Okay, buckle up. This is where science gets real interesting and messy. Turns out, some of the biggest discoveries were born from monumental failures. Classic example: penicillin. Alexander Fleming, this dude who was seriously committed to finding a cure for infections, left a petri dish out on this messy lab table. Dust landed in it, contaminated it, and bam! Mold grew all over it. Most scientists would toss it out in disgust. But Fleming, he was curious. He saw that the mold was actually killing bacteria surrounding it. That little oops moment revolutionized medicine. And then you've got the story of Teflon. Boy, talk about a happy accident. This chemist, Roy Plunkett, was trying to create a new type of refrigerant. He ended up with this weird, slippery substance that was, well, pretty useless for cooling anything down. They almost tossed it. But then someone realized, hey, this stuff doesn't stick to anything. Voila! Teflon, the non-stick wonder of the kitchen, was born from a complete flub. See? Failure isn't a dead end. It's often a crazy detour leading to something even more amazing. It's all about perspective. Any other remarkable failures that pique your interest?
Okay, nice. My next question is, how can failure improve the learning process?
All right, strap in because this is good stuff. Failure is like a supercharged learning booster shot, but nobody really likes getting poked with a needle, right? So, how's it work? Imagine you're trying to learn how to play guitar. If you never make a wrong note, never fumble a chord change, you're not really learning, are you? You're just mimicking. Those flubs, those off key moments, they're your brain screaming, hey, pay attention. They pinpoint the gaps in your understanding, show you where you need to focus your energy. And then there's the whole getting comfortable with discomfort thing. When you realize you can mess up and still pick yourself up and try again, that takes the pressure off. You're freer to experiment, to try new things, to really dig into the learning process instead of just skimming the surface. Think about toddlers learning to walk. They fall a lot, but they get back up, giggle, and try again. We kind of lose that fearless attitude as we get older, but echoing those toddler vibes in our learning process can be huge. It's about embracing the stumbles, the wrong turns, the oops moments because they're not setbacks, they're signposts, guiding you towards mastery. So,
Okay,
what
nice.
aspect
My
of
next
failure and learning
question
are you
is,
aware?
should the schools and the colleges encourage students to fail more often? Why or why not?
Oof, that's a spicy one. Should schools be pushing students to belly flop more often? It's tempting to say yes, embrace the chaos, right? But it's a bit more nuanced than that. I'm, I'm all, I'm all for ditching that whole failure is never an option mentality. It's kind of paralyzing. Doesn't encourage risk taking or real exploration. But simply telling kids to go out there and flounder isn't going to cut it. We need a system that encourages smart, intentional failing forward. Here's the deal. Schools need to shift the focus from avoiding mistakes to learning from them. That means creating safe spaces where experimentation is applauded, not penalized. Imagine if teachers explicitly teach kids how to analyze their mistakes, identify the gaps in their knowledge, and strategize for next time. Think about project based learning, where failure is baked into the process. You iterate, refine, revise, and yes, sometimes you crash and burn. but you learn from the wreckage and come back stronger. We also got to address the emotional baggage around failure, right? Telling the kid it's okay to fail doesn't erase the sting of disappointment or the fear of judgment. Schools need to foster a culture of support where vulnerability is seen as a strength and feedback is constructive, not crushing. So, should they actively encourage more failure? Maybe not. But can they nurture a mindset where failure is seen as a stepping stone to success? Absolutely. It's about reframing the narrative, turning the fear of failure into healthy curiosity and a desire to learn and grow.
Okay, nice. My next topic is failure in motivation and success. So my next question is, why do people who have faced failure often achieve greater success? What is he saying? Okay, so guys, my time is up with Sesame. So I hope you learned anything. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you